Take it away, John. Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Any individual who requires disability-related accommodations or modifications, including auxiliary aids and services, in order to participate in the board meeting should contact the superintendent or designee in writing. The first item under our closed session, any person wishing to speak on any item on the closed session agenda will be granted 3 minutes. And those items are, as provided by law, the following items will be considered in the closed session of the board meeting. Item A 3.1, public employee, employment discipline, dismissal, release, reassignment of employees, Government Code Section 54957. Item A 3.2, student expulsion, reinstatement, expulsion enrollments. Item 3.3, conference with labor negotiators. Agency designated representatives, Dr. Cuauhtemoc Avila, Superintendent, Dr. Rhea MacGyver Gibbs, Lead Personnel Agent, Personnel Services, and Rhonda Kramer, Lead Personnel Agent, Personnel Services. Employee organizations, California School Employees Association, Chapter 203, CSEA, Rialto Education Association, REA, Communication Workers of America, CWA. Item A 3.4, review of liability claim number 212202. And item A 3.5, review of liability claim 212205. Do we have a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
We have a second. And then I'm guessing there's no speakers to comment on the items?
There are none.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
6:02.
Based on the guidelines that we have in place, which literally haven't changed from December, besides the quarantine times. I would think they would be okay to continue to practice, period. Athletic teams are practicing all the time, period. But just to be on the safe side, contact Derek.
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn closed session?
So moved?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
7:04.
Time is 7:04 and open session is reconvened. We'll begin tonight with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Ms. O'Kelly, would you like to do us the honor?
Sure. Okay, ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we go to report out of closed session. Dr. McDuffie, would you like to help us with that?
Yes, President. The Board of Education voted on the request for an unpaid leave of absence for classified employee number 2875432 from January 13th, 2022 through January 3rd, 2022. The roll call vote was as follows. Edgar Montes, yes. Stephanie Lewis, Vice President, yes. Nancy O'Kelly, yes. And Joseph Martinez, yes. Therefore, the request,
May I ask, because that was I made the motion to deny.
therefore, the request for an unpaid leave is denied.
Okay.
Do we have any other reports?
No.
Next, we go to adoption of the agenda, but before we adopt, due to safety consideration, the presentation by our high school district advisory committee will be pulled from the agenda. Also, under business and financial consent, item E 3.12, page 49, regarding the agreement with Scale Education and Research Foundation will be corrected as followed. Approve a renewal agreement with Scale Education and Research Foundation to provide an 8-week academic improvement program for 257 English learner students during the after-school at Hughbanks, Garcia, Henry, Cordiak, and Warner Elementary Schools, effective January 15th, 2022 through March 10th, 2022, at a cost of $11,756.25 for each school, for a total cost not to exceed $58,781.25, and to be paid from the general fund, Title I. Do we have any other comments or concerns regarding the adoption of the agenda with those changes?
You said you were pulling E
Uh,
3.12?
E 3.12 is being corrected. As I read it, I believe in the agenda itself, some changes were made. Would you share with us, like to share with us?
It was an error to have Themis. It was changed to Hughbanks, so it was.
It's an error in the
it was
school.
an error. We actually-
So the only change is to scratch out Bemis in the agenda and replace it with Hughbanks of the 5 elementary schools.
Mhm.
And then also the DSAC students were not going to present tonight. That was under item B, presentations B1. So we're removing B1 and we are also making that change. I did want to just also make one more change, which was to bring comments F, if it's okay with the board, let's get comments out of the way right after, item C. If that's okay with everybody else. We might have some people here that, would like to, make a comment or share a concern and then go home for the evening, and rather than making them wait till we get through part of the agenda, I think it's better if we just give the public the opportunity to get it out of the way.
Not a problem, as long as somebody doesn't show up later, we'll have to make room for them at the appropriate, at the common time.
Yeah, and we can do that for tonight, and next time, this is an oversight on my, this is my bad. I'll make sure, during agenda review, we, probably consider bringing that back. But if everyone's okay with it, we'll move F, up, after C, and just put them together.
Okay.
Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So we're done with B and we go to C. Public comments on agenda items. At this time, any person wishing to speak on any item on the agenda will be granted 3 minutes.
We have none.
Okay? And that takes us to F. Comments from association executive board members, Rialto Education Association.
Good afternoon, school board. Good afternoon, Dr. McDuffie and innovation team. Good afternoon, students and families in the viewing audience. Only thing I have to say tonight is Happy New Year. It's good that we made it back. It's so good to see everyone here. I'm wishing everyone the best. I want everyone to know that we're trying to keep the students, the staff, everyone as safe as possible. I'm happy that we all can work together to do that, and everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
President Montez, if I may, we have the comments for, comments not on the agenda. I don't know whether you want, we usually read those before.
Yeah, comments not on the agenda will be right after the executive association members. Thank you. Next, we'll go to California School Employees Association, CSEA.
Happy New Year.
Happy
Welcome.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'm Chris Cordasco. I'm the CSEA Chapter 203 President. Tonight I want to share a challenge that we're having in our Nutrition Service Department in regards to the services that we provide our students. This week, our Nutrition Service Department experienced a high number of absenteeism due to COVID-related issues. In fact, throughout the pandemic, we've had that issue. But this has caused managers to have to step in and do classified work. And while I totally understand and have no quarrel with this practice due to the situation, I can't help but wonder in this case if it wouldn't be if we were properly staffed in our Nutrition Service Department. Even before the pandemic began, this department was experiencing a high number of vacancies. Our nutrition leadership has spent countless hours interviewing employees or potential employees and have refused to hire and keep these vacancies. This has to stop. I ask that you give our personnel department, who is completely qualified to fill these positions, the opportunity to do so and fill them immediately. I know we have lots of qualified people in our community who deserve a quality job, and we certainly have plenty of jobs to give. As you can imagine, this has had a negative impact on our students in regards to receiving their meals in a timely manner. They've had to close down speed lines at the high schools, and they've had to shrink the amount of staff in the elementaries, causing a slowage of the ability to produce the meals to the students. This impacts class time. If we can't feed, we don't not feed our kids, we still feed them, but unfortunately those kids are missing out on some education time. We need to get these positions filled. and enough is enough when in concern to this department. I know at one point we were at over 50 vacancies, and that's not a good thing. Switching gears, during the break, I happened to be working at Cole Middle School and was walking through the library and fell upon a holiday decoration. It was a Christmas tree built from books. I was in awe, to say the least. With further inspection, I could tell it was a very tedious job, and it was done so with a lot of heart. And I couldn't help but be impressed with, knowing that a classified staff member in that library built that for the students. I immediately took a picture and had to brag, shared it with a few administrators, and lo and behold, it showed up on the school district's webpage. I certainly appreciate that. I appreciate the district celebrating classified's contribution to education in such a creative manner. If you haven't seen it, check out the Facebook page, it's still there. And lastly, I wanted to share a personal experience I had this week. On Monday, even though the students weren't back, our teachers were back preparing for the next semester. And the maintenance department was out getting things ready for kids. And I was at Jehu Middle School changing filters. And the teachers were very busy. They were in their rooms, utilizing every moment they could to get their rooms ready and attending meetings for our departments. And a teacher stopped what they were doing and thanked me personally for the job I was doing. And I wanted, to me, that speaks volumes to the atmosphere at Jehu and that the leadership there is creating. So they're doing a good job there, and I certainly appreciated that. So thank you very much, and good night.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Mr. Cardasco. Next, we go to Communication Workers of America, CWA. Not here tonight. Last but not least, we go to Rialto School Managers Association, RSMA. Not here tonight. Okay, that takes us to F2, public comments not on the agenda items.
First speaker, we have Gil Navarro.
Good evening, Board President, Board members. My name's Gil Navarro. I'm an education advocate, but the federal regulations refer to me as a non-attorney representative. I want to say that in working with your staff, I find that Rialto is a very progressive school district. In other words, the way it used to be, if it's not working, they're ready to change it, and that's progression. But I wanted to share with you some information on mental health. There's AB 551 that was amended to be AB 552, and let me just read a couple excerpts, and I'll leave a copy for your board secretary. Existing law requires the governing board of any school district to give diligent care to the health and physical development of pupils and authorizes the governing board of a school district to employ properly certified persons for the work. Now, more specifically, this bill would establish the integrated school-based behavior health partnership program to provide prevention and early intervention for and access to behavioral health services for pupils. And this is in regards to mental health services. Another portion of the bill says this: the legislature finds and declares all of the following. In any given year, the percentage of young people with behavioral health disorders is estimated to be between 14 and 20%. 1/2 of all mental illness develops by 14 years of age and 3/4 by 24 years of age. Among adolescents and adults with substance use disorders, 90% began using substance before 18 years old. Really tragic. Early intervention and prevention of behavioral health conditions are critical to the success of an individual's health, educational goals, and social relationships. Pupils with emotional disturbances have the highest increase in absenteeism and dropout rates when compared to other disability, according to the studies. So it's very critical that when this bill is passed, it's mandated that all schools in California provide mental health services to all students in need. As you know, mental health issues was occurring pre-COVID. Post-COVID, it's escalated. And then lastly, we don't want to leave out the staff. There's a section called stressors on mental health. And I don't know if your union contract offers this or not, but I think if it doesn't, mental health services, I believe, should be offered to all adults, staff, teachers, and so forth in the Rialto School District. And so I left a copy of how daily stressors impact a person's mental health, even at their work. So I think it's something that would be beneficial to the adults to have that as a service for anybody that's an employee of the district as well. That's all I have, and I'll give the young lady the copies, so if you guys want copies of this information. Thank you for listening, appreciate it.
Thank you.
We have Aurora Sotelo.
Frase breve, pausa, frase breve.
Buenas noches.
Good evening.
Mi nombre es Aurora Sotelo
My name is Aurora Sotelo,
y vengo de la escuela Boy.
and I represent Boyd's School.
El mes pasado estuvimos ya aquí nuevamente hablando del mismo tema de que queremos que nos regresen al conserje Allen.
Last month, we were here already talking to you about the same issue. Basically, we want the custodian, Allen, to be brought back.
Es una persona, yo tengo 2 niños en la primaria y un niño en el preescolar.
I have 2 kids in the elementary school and 1 in preschool.
Y sus comentarios de ellos son excelentes sobre el Señor.
And the comments they have to say about the gentleman are excellent.
Y ahorita dicen que lo extrañan mucho, que no es igual los otros señores que ya nos mandaron, que ellos les gustaría que regrese el Señor.
And they tell me that they miss him a lot, that the other gentleman they sent, it's not the same, that they want this gentleman to come back.
Es más que un conserje, les ayuda, les da consejos,
He's more than a custodian. He helps them, he gives them advice.
les ayuda a los maestros, hace mucho más que su trabajo. Por eso nos gustaría que nos dieran ese, ¿cómo se puede decir? Que nos ayudaran a que pudiera regresar a nuestra escuela.
He helps the teachers. He goes well above and beyond his regular duties, and this is the reason why we would like to ask you basically to help us bring him back to the school.
Uh-huh. Y también sobre los ayudantes a las maestras del doble lenguaje.
And also the assistants or the teacher aides for the double language program.
Mis 2 niñas que están en la primaria están en el programa de doble lenguaje.
Both of my girls who are at elementary school participate in the dual language program.
Y en verdad sí necesitan no un asistente de 45 minutos, necesitan un asistente de mínimo de 2 horas porque son muchos niños en la clase de 5º grado, son 31 niños.
And they need a teacher's assistant for more than 45 minutes, really actually 2 hours, because in her class it's more than 31 children.
Y en la clase de primer grado eran 21 y creo que ya aumentaron a una niña más hoy.
And in
Así,
the first grade class, it was 21, and today I think they added another little girl.
o sea que en vez de ser los más pequeños nos están aumentando más y no hay más ayuda a los maestros.
So instead of reducing the classes, they're actually adding more students, and they're not giving the teachers help.
Y eso es lo que estamos pidiendo. No nomás soy yo, hay más padres que desean lo mismo, que lamentablemente o por la situación del COVID no pudieron hoy asistir también.
And
Pero-
it isn't just me, there are many other parents who are asking for the same thing. Unfortunately, due to the COVID situation, they were not able to be here today.
Y pues en pocas palabras es todo eso, que queremos que nos hagan el favor de regresar al Señor, a nuestra escuela, al equipo de la escuela de Boy,
Sí.
que sí no necesitamos, nuestros niños lo necesitan al Señor, porque en realidad sí lo estiman y hacen un excelente trabajo el Señor.
So in fewer words, we're asking that this gentleman be brought back to school. The kids miss him. They really do care for him. And it would be, if you can give us the help to bring him back. That's basically, in essence, what we're asking for.
Y sobre los asistentes, que también ya de hace mucho tiempo lo estamos pidiendo, y 45 minutos, como le digo, no es para tantos niños. No aprenden lo que deben de aprender en 45 minutos de un ayudante, de un maestro.
And regarding the teacher's assistants, well, we've been asking for that for some time now. I mean, we are asking, 45 minutes really isn't enough for children to learn what they're supposed to learn from the teacher's assistants,
Y es todo.
and that's it.
¿Ok? Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much.
Gracias. Do we
Yeah.
have any more?
Yes, we have Evelyn Dominguez.
Okay, thank you. Hi, good evening. First of all, I know that there's parents that wanted to be here but could not be here. So their names are Beatrice Marez, Mr. and Mrs. Alex Hernandez, Erlinda Magaña, Nancy Rosas, and Donna Gomez. My name is Evelyn Dominguez. I know that most of you know me from last time, and as promised, I am here because I do not feel that anything has been resolved. We have had, I have spoken to many agents here at the district, and they just keep pointing the finger back at Mr. Avila. Nobody tells me, nobody tells me what they're gonna do. Everybody tells me, hey, my name is so-and-so, my family grew up here, I know about how they came, how long they worked here, I know their personal stuff, but nobody has ever said, Evelyn, let's fix this, let's get this going. Nobody has done that. So I am here tonight to reinstate and to revoice my issues that we're having. There was a parent meeting with Mr. Polito at Boyd and Mr. Les Alexander, I believe his name is, and we were treated there with disrespect and were absolutely belittled. Mr. Polito and Mr. Lester attempted to impede us from talking by stating, we are gonna have to agree to disagree. And also, it is out of my control. I have spoken to Diana Romo, and she has informed me that that moving Mr. Allen was not a necessary move, but they did it anyway, with the direction and authorization of Mr. Avila. They have moved Mr. Allen, which is a very loved and key essential member of Boyd Elementary. Because of this move, today I received a call at my work from my son saying that he was scared because there was an incident with the custodian. And I'll let you guys talk amongst you guys to find out what that incident was. But as a mom, I never ever want to receive that call again. I am also here to voice about the aides. These excuses need to stop. The no funding, that's a lie. That's a lie. There is funding. You guys send these reminders every week to bring the kids to Saturday school so you guys can get funding for attendance. So I know that there's funding. I can also know because it comes out of my check. every month or every time I get paid. Mr. Polito finally sent out a note saying that he was a principal, but is this what a principal sends out a letter for, with grammatical errors? Who hired him? Who's responsible for this? I don't feel that this is right. This is not right. We have done everything as parents to keep our kids safe. We have done everything to do our part as parents and start education at home. But I don't see the district moving. It's been a month since I stood up here last and can voice these concerns. And what do I get? Mr. Avila, talk to Mr. Avila. Talk to Mr. Avila.
Yeah, could you just wrap it up? We have to abide by the
Okay,
timeframe.
that's perfectly fine. I need these issues to be resolved within the next week, because I know it's possible to do it within the next week. But the issue of collapsing sizes, we are in a pandemic. Numbers are going up real fast. We're having variants. We need to keep these class sizes small. We need to make these jobs appealing so people can apply. Having 3-hour positions, I don't want to apply for 3 hours. I want to apply for 6 hours. I need benefits. People need benefits. People need health care. Why are we not doing this more appealing so people can apply? To this day, there's still not an aide for 3 hours in my son's class. I'm wrapping it up right now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? There's not an aide to this day, a month later, and nothing has been done. This needs to change, and this needs to stop. And by the way, Diana Romo, she lied to me. She lied to me, to my face, and that's why I declined a second meeting with her. So I wish I could stay here for an hour, but I can't. So, and I apologize, I missed your call today, but I was in the middle of patient care.
Thank
Okay.
you,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
We have one more, Celia Saravia.
So, good evening. I wonder if I may explain to, I'm so sorry,
Vice
Trustee Lewis.
President,
Last time you had a question as to why I was interpreting the way. This is Ms. Celia's personal
Sarabia.
choice. And it's actually one of the different modes in which we interpret or translate. It's called side translation. So I have her entire speech, and then she speaks it, and I take it from the original Spanish, and I side translate it into English. It's very common. It's done all the time.
No, I just question that because you don't get the spirit of the emotion when you break how she, and then after the hearing, it sort of get lost, so.
I don't know what to say to that. All I'm going to say is that it's by her request. I'm at no liberty to impose one or the other. Whatever they choose, I'm okay with. ¿Quiere que lo hagamos así o lo hacemos frase por frase?
Como yo lo que quiero es que el BOR y la comunidad entiendan nuestro sentimiento, nuestro sentir, cómo están trabajando ustedes, todo lo que nosotros queremos venir a expresar acá. Si frase por frase es mejor, está muy bien.
I just want the board and the community to understand the spirit in which we come, to understand the words that we're saying. And if going phrase by phrase is the way to do it, then I'm okay with that.
could you just explain to Ms. Sarabia that Vice President Lewis just raised the concern last time and wanted to make sure that you were interpreting accurately as much as possible her translating for her.
En la reunión anterior, la preocupación de la fiduciaria Luis era de que en la interpretación que hicimos, porque lo hicimos como traducción a la vista, se habría perdido el espíritu, las inflexiones de la voz, lo que usted quería decir.
Sí,
Y que si se tenía inquietud de que si se estaba haciendo correctamente o fidedignamente.
Pero como usted gusta, está bien.
no, yo, está
Ah,
bien,
ah.
frase por, está bien así, con frases. Está
Usted
bien,
es la patrona, usted dígame.
está bien.
Ok.
Muchas gracias. Buenas noches, presidente Buenas noches, miembros de la mesa directiva, presidente Mr. Montes, vicepresidenta Miss Luis,
Good evening, members of the board, President Montes, Vice President Ms. Lewis,
Audiencia.
and audience.
Soy Celia Sarabia y represento al grupo de apoyo de padres de niños especiales.
I am Celia Sarabia, and I represent a support group for parents who have children of special needs.
Primero queremos desearles que tengan un feliz año,
First, we want to wish you
muchas
a Happy New
bendiciones,
Year
con mucha salud
with lots of blessings, lots of health
para todos
for everyone.
y que nos cuidemos. También queremos darles las gracias a nuestro distrito, a nuestra mesa directiva, a nuestro superintendente, a mi Saida Jaffrey, a todos los maestros, a todas las personas que hicieron posible que nuestros niños de nuestro grupo tuvieran un juguete para Navidad.
We also want to thank the board, our superintendent, Ms. Aida Joffrey, Ms. Doctora Chavez, and all the teachers and all the employees for their kindness who made possible that all the kids had a toy for Christmas.
Gracias por tanta bondad.
Thank you for
Eh,
all your kindness.
También queremos agradecerles y decirles a Miss Fasa, a Cristina, a María, a Sara, a Mike, a Juan, a todo el departamento de nutrición,
We also want to say to the people mentioned and the entire Department of Nutrition Department,
los queremos agradecer por el excelente trabajo que están haciendo con nuestro distrito,
we want to thank them for the excellent job they're doing for our districts.
porque mientras muchos estábamos guardándonos en nuestra casa durante la pandemia, ellos estaban trabajando muy fuerte.
Because while some of us were safe at home during the pandemic, they were working quite hard,
Y todavía lo siguen haciendo.
and they
En
continue to do
Navidad,
so.
cuando todos andábamos ya de vacaciones, ellos estaban haciendo su evento de darle juguetes y alimentos a las familias.
During Christmas, when we were all enjoying our vacations, they were still carrying on events to give kids toys during Christmas.
Y eso es bien importante para nuestra comunidad, porque tal vez muchos teníamos algo que comer, pero muchos no lo tenían y gracias a ese evento que ellos han hecho siempre, lo tuvieron.
And this is very important for the community because while some of us might have had some food to eat, some others might not. And so they made sure, and that is important for the community.
Así es que es bien importante que nosotros motivemos a todas las personas que trabajan en nuestro distrito y que están haciendo un trabajo fuera de su tiempo, porque ellas estaban fuera de tiempo y estaban trabajando fuerte. Así es que tenemos que apreciar, por favor, lo que todas ellas hacen.
So it's very important that we motivate those people because they were doing a job above and beyond what they normally do. They were doing a great job. And so we need to appreciate that and we need to recognize everything that they do.
También queremos decirles que nosotros como parte de la comunidad hemos participado en las 3 juntas para revisar el mapa.
We also want to tell you that we, as part of the community, have participated in the 3 meetings regarding the mapping of the district.
De cómo quedarían distribuidas las áreas o zonas de nuestro distrito
We've seen how the areas or zones for our district would end up looking like
para las elecciones de nuestros miembros de la mesa directiva.
for the elections of our board members.
Y después de haberlo revisado y contado con el apoyo de profesionales,
And after going over them and having it counted and leaned on the help of professionals,
conocedores del tema,
people who know of these matters,
que nos explicaron detenidamente
who explained to us in detail
y aclararon nuestras dudas,
and clarified our doubts,
respondieron nuestras preguntas,
they answered our questions.
consideramos que el mapa número 1
In our opinion, we think that map number 1, scenario number 1,
es el apropiado
it's the appropriate one
porque es el que cubre las áreas correctamente,
because it's the one that covers the areas in a correct manner
basada en la población,
based on the population
culturalmente
and also in regards to culture
y en las necesidades de nuestra comunidad.
and also according to the needs of our community.
Por eso le pedimos a nuestra mesa directiva
For this reason, we ask our board
que consideren nuestra petición.
to take into consideration our petition.
Apoyamos el mapa número 1.
We support scenario number 1.
Nos da mucho gusto saber que estamos trabajando unidos los padres y nuestro distrito
We are very happy to know that we are working united, the parents and our districts,
para el beneficio y éxito de nuestros estudiantes.
for the benefit and success of our students.
Es un honor contar con ustedes.
And it's an honor to count on you.
Estamos orgullosos del gran trabajo
We're very proud of the great work
que está haciendo nuestra mesa directiva
that our board is doing.
nuestro superintendente
our superintendent,
y el personal del distrito.
and the district staff.
Hemos avanzado muchísimo
We have
y
advanced
como
a lot,
comunidad estamos bien orgullosos de ustedes.
and as a community, we're quite proud of all of you.
Gracias y que Dios los bendiga.
Thank you, and God bless you.
I just want to say thank you for translating in this manner. I really captured the spirit instead of like,
Gracias por
Going
interpretar de
off
esta
and
manera,
then
porque
coming.
sí capté el espíritu de lo que usted quería decir.
Thank you, Vicepresidenta Luis.
Thank you. Do we have any more speakers?
That's all we have.
Okay, so we're gonna flip pages back to consent calendar, well, public hearing, there's none, then consent calendar item. All items on the consent calendar will be acted upon in one motion unless pulled by Board of Education members or the superintendent for individual action. Do we have any pools that we would like to vote on separately under the consent calendar items? And then let's remember that there was just that correction on item E 3.12. Are there any other items that we would like to set aside for separate action? All right. Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar items as amended?
I make a motion to approve the consent calendar as amended.
second?
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. O'Kelly. Any questions or concerns? Believe not. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we'll count one abstention. And I do apologize, I believe skipped again some items. Our student board member is not with us tonight, so that would have been F3. Then F4, comments from our superintendent. And Dr. McDuffie, would you like to share with us some words?
Absolutely. Thank you, President Montez, and good evening, board and Rialto community. On behalf of the superintendent, Dr. Avila, and all of us here at the district, we want to wish everyone a happy new year. I will make my remarks short, but 2022 has begun with a sober reminder of how diligent we must remain as a community, as our community continues to fight against COVID. The recent surge has been felt across the state and nation over the past weeks. And we're experiencing, once again, a disruption in our day-to-day operations, like staffing and supply shortages. And I'd like to say, in spite of the challenges we continue to face, I just want to say thank you to all of our employees and our families for adjusting to the rapidly changing conditions we find ourselves in. At the beginning of this week, we received from the state COVID test kits for each of our students in our school district. Distribution began at every school last night, where principals and their school sites did an outstanding job with such short notice of passing out these kits. This could not have been possible without our district staff, our support staff, our warehouse staff, clerical, all chipping in, and it really was a team effort. And if there are any parents that were not able to pick up those test kits for their children, please contact your child's principal so that we can get that test kit out to you. I want to thank everyone for their patience as we do everything within our power to protect our students and employees during this latest COVID surge. On the bright side, public health officials are confident this surge will crest soon, maybe at the end of the month, and quickly trend in the other direction. Until such time, we cannot let our guard down, and I'm confident that if we continue to work together and focus on prevention, we can keep our schools safe. So, in the meantime, in the words of one of my all-time favorite R&B singers, Al Green, let's stay together. Loving you in good, bad, happy, or sad. Let's stay together. So thank you very much, and I wish everyone a good evening.
Thank you. For a split second, I said, I hope he doesn't say if loving you is wrong. I don't want to be right.
That's the wrong song, President Montez.
It came in my mind. I just had to share it. But thank you, Dr. McDuffie. You're superintendent for tonight, so we get to poke a little fun here and there. All right. Next, we go to comments from Board of Education, and we'll go with ladies first. Ms. O'Kelly?
Oh, okay. Well, I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody, and let's hope 2022 turns out to be an improvement over 2021. That's what I'm hoping for. As Dr. McDuffie said, we all just need to focus on staying healthy and taking care of ourselves, and hopefully we will all get through this just fine and stay together.
Sure.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go with ladies first. We'll go to Vice President, Ms. Lewis.
Oh, okay. Well, listening to the comments and listening to the concerns of everyone, I just want to throw this fact out that the #1 hospitalization of corona is from 4 months to 6 years. Those are the children who are hospitalized. And hospitalization has increased in children. So this is an age group that are not protected.
Right.
Last year, our main concern was just with coronavirus because we were sheltered in. But now that we're out, we not only have the coronavirus, we have influenza A and B, we have the respiratory syncytial virus, we have bronchitis, we have asthma, we have strep throat. So you're dealing with all these illness and corona. So that makes the test kit so important, okay? Because the symptoms of these viruses are, fever, headache, sore throat. They're very ambiguous of any type of illness. So when you take home that test kit that have 2 tests in there and they're having symptoms, you can rule out at least one. You can confirm or rule out. And that's a big peace of mind. But children are getting the normal winter virus illness in addition. And as we look forward to celebrating Martin Luther King birthday, one of the quotes that really speaks to me that I want to share with you is the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in the moment of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. I know it's hard when people have to get shuffled and move, but when we think of our schools and our sites, and during this pandemic and epidemic, sanitation, cleanliness is #1 priority. We've invested in the health and wellness of our children. So I know there's hard decisions that administration has to make, and I'm a professional employee that I have to go where I'm instructed, outside of my comfort zone, working next to people who now in my profession come to work positive. So where you could think about, The next person is probably negative because they're back at work. That thought is no longer in your mind. But when I think of a 4-month-old or 3-month-old or 2-month-old that don't have a choice, and you think of their parents, and you think of how we work so hard to get our schools open, some of these inconveniences that we have, filling position, people are afraid. They're selling their homes, they're grouping up. All of us are where we stand, and I'm glad I stand with this board. I'm glad I stand with this cabinet, and I stand with every classified, administrative, teachers. I stand with you. And the community members, I hear you, and I stand with you too. But we're standing. We're not lying down in a grave. So we must have to think of our positive outlook. We must continue to work, and we must give people the benefit of the doubt that they're making moves because they have to. They're trying to go through personnel records and trying to find the best because they have to, because they know what's in stake.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice President Ms. Lewis. I haven't heard that much passion in a while. Thank you for bringing that back. Next, we go to Mr. Martinez.
Oh, thank you. You know, one of my ringtones, by the way, if I can get to it. Open with, okay. Come on, you can do it. It's not gonna be nice to me. Anyway, let's stay together.
You don't wanna be wrong?
Yeah, that's it. Right now, everyone has to think outside the box. Everyone has to work outside the box. In other districts, in normal times, and I'm talking a decade ago, when somebody works outside of their job description as the custodian over at Boyd is, it's not unknown for other staff members to complain because somebody has to pick up the extra work, the slack that isn't done. So anything has to be negotiated. You know, any change of duties, that kind of thing, for it to last. Other than that, things like this are going to happen. It isn't always positive, as we've heard. But it's nothing that is going to be corrected in a week. So I welcome you back next board meeting. And that's not being flippant. You said it, that you'd be back, and I welcome you back. You're welcome to come to the podium and you know, share your feelings. They're valid. I'm just glad that the people that are working together. I'm glad that one thing I heard is that we had 200 teachers call out sick. I don't know how many classifieds, but that's like 10% of teachers. Looking back 100 years, you heard me talk about the 1918 through 1920 Spanish flu. Eventually, that was eradicated. It's just called the flu now. And that's what they expect for coronavirus. I've heard twice from medical professionals, the news though, that it could last easy 5 years, but within that 5 years, the herd, all of us, will have had it, and we will have immunity, and that's what they expect. Eventually, it will be called the flu. Not coronavirus, just the flu again. I'm not a medical professional, but when I've heard it twice from medical professionals and it sounds reasonable to last 5 years, Not that I like it, but it may be that for us to have to get through 5 years of this, which I hate. Everyone being short with each other. Not good, folks.
Some of us are just short anyway.
Yeah, you're right. But that's short and sweet talking. Okay, that's about it, Mr. President. If I can get this thing working, I'll play it after you.
Problem, no problem. Thank you, Mr. Martinez, and I don't have a whole lot of, I just wanted to also, wish everybody a happy Gregorian New Year. We know that, coming into 2022 with, this new Omicron and these new variants and coronavirus still being part of our daily lives, it's not easy, and it can be stressful and difficult. I just want to share that we will continue to do everything as a district to put safety first above everything else. Staff, our superintendent, deputy superintendent, and others are really taking a good look at the numbers, looking at how many staff members are testing positive for COVID, how many students are testing positive for COVID, how many people are calling off, how many student absences we have. And I'll be honest with everybody, I was really, I was a little leery coming back when school was gonna start back after a 3-week break.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, that was a nice 3 weeks, a much needed 3 weeks for a lot of people, especially working under the stress of COVID and the conditions that we have to work under. But we're back, and staff has done an awesome job trying to do the best they can. And we don't want anyone, I don't think this board or this district wants anybody to work and do anything that they do not want to do, or do anything that they don't feel safe doing. I know a lot of parents were concerned regarding bringing their kids back to school after the break, and so many numbers rising during the holiday weekends. But we're all walking on eggshells, we're all biting our nails, grinding our teeth, and everybody's worried. But one thing I can guarantee is I know that this board and this district will do the right thing if push comes to shove and cases just continue to pile and pile and pile. Now, whether that's distance learning down the road in the near future or not, we keep our fingers crossed and hope that things get better. The district has been doing a lot of testing. There was a couple school sites where they had testing for students and employees and whatnot, and I heard that was a really good turnout. I know families are receiving free testing kits that were given to the district. So we're doing everything possible to as safe as possible. We want our teachers, we want our classified, we want our support staff to know that we do care, and we're keeping a really close eye on the developing conditions. And the minute it just becomes too much for us, then we gotta do what we have to do to keep safety as our #1 priority for everybody. So let's keep our fingers crossed with that, and continue to support each other in whatever way possible. I don't have a whole lot to respond to some of the comments and concerns that were shared, other than it brings me great pleasure and great joy to learn of employees in the district who are so well loved.
Yes.
And that could be a principal, that could be a teacher, that could be a safety officer, it can be anybody. And whenever a group of people come and say, hey, we love this person, they're awesome, we don't want them going anywhere. It speaks to the person they're talking about. So I don't know who this person is, this mister, but maybe he deserves one of our keys to the district. I don't know, but so many wonderful things have been said about him. Wherever you are,
Mr. Allen.
I don't want to say the name, but it was already said. But Mr. Allen, we salute you. We thank you. I thank you for your service, and
the
and
other letters, mention other letters of the other ones. Yeah.
yes, there was some emails.
Numerous, yes.
There was some emails and some letters where the same sentiments were shared about other people in other schools. Now, the Board of Education is not at liberty to really discuss employee matters. Employee matters are confidential matters. It's just a privacy. When we say confidential, it doesn't mean something bad. It just means it's out of privacy rights for employees. So we're not really at liberty to discuss anything, but I just wanted to comment to the nature of people coming here to share their love and their admiration for an employee, whoever that employee is. And at the same time, the board is not at liberty to micromanage administrative decisions. If we were here to micromanage the district, if we were here to have a say in every single thing, then what do we want our administrators for? What do we want the superintendent and his cabinet for? If we're going to be middling our fingers in every single issue or situation. With that said, it doesn't mean we can't listen and we can't hear concerns and we can't, try to help everyone with everything. But I just wanted to comment to the nature of the admiration and the love and the respect for the individual who has been mentioned the last two board meetings, and also for some people who were also mentioned in some emails regarding other schools. I thank you for your service. We thank you. We appreciate it. And just know that a person like that is going to do good anywhere. A person like that will be loved everywhere, no matter where they go. And just like they touched lives at one place, they have the same strength and capacity to touch lives in another place as well. But without saying any more before I get myself in trouble, I would like to still speak with parents. I did reach out to a parent that came here tonight, so hopefully maybe we can sit down and listen to more concerns and whatnot, and just remind everyone that we want to be as respectful as possible. Maybe I don't believe it's anybody in the district's intention to be disrespectful. I truly don't believe anybody meant to be disrespectful in any way. But sometimes when we don't meet eye to eye on certain things, or don't agree on certain things, or don't hear what we'd like to hear, it's easy to misinterpret things. But we definitely always ask, and we ourselves try to lead by example and be respectful to everyone, even if we disagree on matters, right? So to the parents at Boyd, I appreciate your comments, your honesty, and thank you for sharing your concerns with us. And we hope that our district and your school can truly help us all, one way or another, whatever the outcome is. We can't make any promises. These are, administrative decisions, but we can definitely, at the very least, do is meet people and listen to them, and take it from there. And with that, that's all I got. Let's continue to be safe. Let's continue to practice safety measures, social distance as much as possible, continue to wear our masks. I'm burning up in this thing because I'm not used to speaking so much with it on, but it's part of the new norm. So thank you for all of those who are following the recommendations, and I want to encourage people to get vaccinated, get your booster. I respect everyone's decision, whether you believe in the vaccine or not, but it's just my personal opinion. I believe it does help people, and I believe it's helped me and my family, and would just like to encourage everyone to do so. And that's coming from somebody that didn't believe in vaccines before COVID. I do now. So thank you. If anybody else would like to chime in on something, you're more than welcome to do so. I don't know if you found that song, Mr. Martinez.
We still have to do
Yeah.
discussion action items.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
President
Yeah.
Montez, did you wanted to go ahead and share with the public the recommendations that the board set up, study some contingency plans that you mentioned that we're looking into?
Well, we
With the COVID and that we're studying.
I think it'd be good if we could let Dr. McDuffie share some of that stuff with Dr. Avila when he comes back to the district. We understand Dr. Avila couldn't be here today for a personal matter, but maybe when he comes back, Dr. McDuffie can go over some of
Right, I
that-
just
some
want
of
to let
with
them know that we are looking at the numbers and looking at all the different. that you sort of-
Go ahead and
Oh.
I just think we're
No,
all
we're
worried.
good.
We're
Yeah.
all worried and
Yeah.
I think I covered most of it, but if you want to add anything else,
No, President Martinez and President Montez, sorry, I'm so used to President Martinez, that, the board have given the directive to, give options and contingencies and thresholds. So, as you're saying, they're keeping us abreast and will keep us abreast so we can keep the families and students abreast.
thank you.
See if this will play.
I don't know. That's the end of the meeting music.
I seen it all now.
I got something started here, didn't I?
You sure did, Dr. McDuffie. Thank you.
Okay, board members on the left.
It feels good to laugh, so thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Yeah, it feels good. We need a little bit of that every now and then.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so last but not least, we move on to item, somebody help me out here, we jumped
G1.
around.
Yeah.
G1.
G1, discussion action items.
E1, isn't it? We skipped that.
E1,
Consent calendar
E-
items.
No, we already.
yeah, I wanted to wait for you, Mr. Martinez, but we had moved it up,
Okay. No harm, I'm glad we're further than I thought.
Yes.
yeah, we skipped. So, yeah, we approved to move F to after C to connect them together, and then I just ran down the line there.
All right.
We go to G1, amendment to agreement with collection sites, and it's to amend the agreement with collection sites to conduct polymerase. Am I saying that right? I don't want to get grammatically called out. Polymerase, is that right?
That's how
PCR.
I'd say it.
Chain reaction, also known as PCR and/or antigen tests for students, including student athletes, to detect the presence of SARS-CoV-2 COVID-19 for an additional cost of $100,000 at a new total cost not to exceed $300,000 and to be paid for from the general fund. All other terms of the agreement will remain the same. Do we have any? Do we have a motion
So
first?
moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Next, do we have any nays? Okay. Next, we go to G2, liability, I apologize. We have to, roll call vote, discussion action items. I guess I've been on the board long enough to where we used to do it that way before, but Ms. Walker is absent. We go to Mr. Martinez. We need your roll call vote.
Aye.
Ms.
Aye.
O'Kelly, Ms. Lewis,
Aye.
and then myself is an aye. Then we go to G2, liability claim rejection. Do we have a motion to approve and deny?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And then, Mr. Martinez,
Aye.
Ms. O'Kelly,
Aye.
Vice President Ms. Lewis,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Next, we go to G3, resolution number 212224, remuneration. And that's to adopt, do we have a motion to approve, adopting resolution 212224, excusing the absence of Board Clerk Nancy G. O'Kelly from Wednesday's December 15, 2021, regular meeting of the Board of Education?
So
Well-
move.
Second.
Thank you. And Mr. Martinez, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mrs. O'Kelly,
Abstain.
Vice President Lewis,
Aye.
and myself, an aye. Next, we go to G4, administrative hearing. Do we have a motion to approve case number 212227?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Martinez, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Ms. Lewis?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Next, we go to G5, reinstatement. And do we have a motion to reinstate case numbers 18-19-20, 18-19-19, 18-19-18, and 17-18-66?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and Mr. Martinez, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Vice President Lewis?
Aye.
And myself, aye. All right. The next regular meeting of the Board of Education of the Rialto Unified School District will be held on January 26, 2022, at 7 p.m. at the Dr. John Casalunas Education Center, 182 East Walnut Avenue, Rialto, California. Materials distributed or presented to the Board of Education at the Board of Meeting are available upon request from the Superintendent's Office. Do we have a motion to
So
approve?
moved.
Second.
And Mr. Martinez, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Nancy O'Kelly?
Aye.
Aye.
Vice President Lewis, and myself, aye. And the time is 8:11.